Hello, Phorest salon owners. Hello again. I am Ryan Power, and this is the recorded, slightly less quick talking version of my presentation that I made, my workshop at the Salon Owners Summit in Dublin in 2020, all about email and the 2 types of email you should never send to your clients and the 5 which you definitely should. And just before I start, you're also going to find some additional resources on this page. Some of the other stuff that I just couldn't cram in to the 20-minute slot that I'd been allocated. And there's also some other cool bonuses as well that you can find, and you'll find all of that somewhere around this video. So I'm Ryan Power. I'm a beauty business coach with Salonology, which is the coaching and consulting brand for salons that myself, Holly, and I set up 5 years ago. I'm also a best-selling Amazon #1 author, and I'm also a self-confessed marketing geek. This is my book, The Customer Is Always Right, and 7.5 other outdated myths which are destroying your beauty business. There's a link to that somewhere around this video if you want to check that out as well. But also, kind of more importantly really, I'm also a beauty business owner just like you. This is a picture of my wife Holly and I's day spa. This is in beautiful sunny Bournemouth on the south coast of England, and we've owned this for more than 10 years. So believe me when I say that I understand a lot of the problems and challenges that you face as salon owners or as salon managers. And additionally, a lot of the stuff that I teach and that I talk about is stuff that we've actually trialed in our own business. It's not kind of out of a marketing textbook or anything like that. It's stuff which we've actually tried and tested ourselves in our own business, in the coalface, if you like. And I pulled these stats from our email software last week because I was talking about emails. We've sent nearly 500,000 emails in our day spa and our coaching brand. We've sent almost 250,000 emails. So I do think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to email. And again, look, if you've got any pictures from the talk, please share them on Instagram. Tag me at It's Ryan Power. If you follow me, I'll follow you back. Also, tag Phorest. Use the hashtag Salon Summit 2020. Say something nice, and who knows, they might actually invite me back next year, and maybe they'll even put me on the proper big stage next time. So anyway, let's talk about the 2 types of email you should never send, 5 you definitely should. We'll start with the 2 you shouldn't, and the first one is the newsletter. You've probably seen them. They look something like this. And I know I might get a bit of trouble with some of the people at Phorest here, because I know that Phorest, of course, make lovely little templates for you to send your emails, and they've got your logo and all the nice colours on there. But I've got a question. I've got a question for you. Would you rather receive one of those newsletter type emails, the sort that you often see sent from the supermarkets and the big high street brands and the big clothing retailers, or an email which is just written from a friend, written one-to-one? Now, most people would rather receive an email from a friend, right? A simple, what are you doing this Friday? Fancy some wine? Or whatever it might be, okay? And yet, time and time again, I see people mimicking the supermarket type emails, the big colourful emails with the flashing text and the big images and all this kind of thing. And there's a few issues with this, right? Because first of all, right, we are hardwired to open, read and enjoy emails sent from our friends. So wouldn't it be a much better idea to model these instead of the newsletter type ones? Okay, there's a few reasons why the newsletter type emails don't work as well as they once did. They get stuck in filters frequently. they don't look good always on mobile phones. They often don't load properly because the programs that are reading the emails, they know their images and they won't always load them. And if your images don't load, they look really funny. And a bigger problem is they're often viewed by the recipient as a thinly veiled sales pitch. We know, don't we, when we get that email drop into our inbox from ASOS or someone, you know that in there somewhere there's going to be something for sale, isn't there? Might be with a discount code, but we know there's going to be something for sale, and therefore we automatically kind of have our guards up when we're receiving them. And the brutal truth of the matter is most people don't care about your news and your newsletter. What they care about is they care about themselves, they care about their own challenges, their own needs and their own wants. And maybe if you can help them with their own needs, challenges and wants, then that might be something they might be of interest in. So I would challenge you at least to test the way I'm about to explain now. Even if you still want to do a once a month email as well, I would also just test running this against it. See which gets better open rates. See which commands more sales, because Phorest will tell you all of that in its clever back end. But this is what I would recommend that you try doing instead. You can still take what you would normally send out in your monthly newsletter, but instead of sending it in one multi-formatted, colourful newsletter once a month, split it into 4 weekly plain text emails. So i.e. emails that look like they've been written from one person to one person. The same as if you sent me an email right now and I replied back, and it's obviously just from me one-to-one. That type of email looks very, very different, doesn't it, to a newsletter type. So split it up, okay? Same information, just delivered differently. And here's why this works better. To begin with, it's more personal. People ultimately buy from people, not from brands and not from businesses. Again, when the email drops in from ASOS, you've got no affinity in most cases with them. You've got no idea who wrote it. You've got no idea of anything behind it. Instead, when you get one through from your friend, it's different. You've got a picture immediately of them in your head, and that's how relationships are built. And when you can start doing this with your clients, it's a much different way of communicating. You're going to find that it brings them much, much closer to you. And of course, then when you're closer and you've got a better relationship, ultimately that's going to lead to far more sales. Additionally, people want to know the person behind the brand, right? People are nosy, so give them a little bit of behind the curtain stuff and let them know a little bit about the individual who's behind the business. Again, in your own community, you're going to be viewed to some people as almost like a minor celebrity because you own a business. That's something that most people don't do. Most people don't own businesses. So therefore, that makes you a bit different and people are interested in this. Additionally, if you only send something once a month or once every couple of weeks or once whenever you remember, when you're not too busy, right? Sound familiar? Then you're going to get forgotten about because we get 144 emails a day on average. So if you're only sending it out once a month, you are going to get forgotten and you're going to get forgotten very, very quickly. So you want to stay front of mind, you want to stay recent and you want to stay regular, and the way you do that is you send emails at least once a week. One thing that I found when I experimented with frequency of email sending was that the more emails I sent, the more sales I made. So that might work for you too. So I would encourage you to send more and more and more, and don't worry about people unsubscribing or annoying people. You really aren't going to annoy anyone by emailing them once or twice a week, I promise you, okay? So that's the first type. The second type of email which you should never send your clients is what I call a constant promoter. Now there are 2 types of constant promoter. That is the first one who just sends out offers all the time. Every time you get an email from them, it's got an offer in there. 20% off this, 50% off that. I'm sure you can straight away think of people that send these. And the second type is the one that's always offering up space availability. And these also apply to social media posts as well, really, as much as they do emails, because I see this all the time. It drives me absolutely bonkers, particularly the space availability one. You'll get someone put up a post and it'll be like, last minute availability this Saturday, slots at 9, 9:15, 9:45, 10:35, 11, and you're like, come on already, right? Because what sort of message is this sending out to your clients? Okay? The first one is sending out a message that they should just wait for an offer. Yeah, if you're always sending offers, you're going to condition people to never ever pay full price. Dangerous place to be, that. Very, very dangerous place to be. And if you are conditioning people that you've always got availability in your diaries, then you're conditioning them to know that they don't ever need an appointment. And that, again, is really bad positioning from your strategic point of view, okay? So, and picture the scene on holiday, okay? Now, maybe you're sat on the beach, you're in Spain, let's say, you had a lovely day, sat by the pool with your margarita, sat on your giant unicorn lilo, and you're going to go out for the evening for dinner, and you wander down toward the local little strip of restaurants, and there's two restaurants, one either side of the road. One has not a soul in it, and the other is bustling. Which one are you going to go into? You're going to go in the busy one, aren't you? You're going to go in the busy one because there's social proof there, because there's already people in there. And something subconsciously goes off in our head and says, these people must all know something that I don't. That's why we're in there. And you're also thinking, well, what's wrong with the other place? Why is no one there? And that's what your clients will be thinking if you're constantly posting that you've got loads and loads of free space, okay? And eventually, you will condition your clients so much if you're sending these all the time that they just won't open these emails after all. Here's what I would do instead of that, okay? So let's say, for argument's sake, you've got a whole load of spaces, or you've got some last minute cancellations, you're going to do a last minute offer, whatever it might be, for pedicures, let's say. So instead of sending out the email saying, pedicure spaces this Saturday, 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock, 50% off, right? Instead of doing that, you send out instead what I would call a value-filled email. So this might be a little piece that you write. Let's say it's on something pedicure related, right? How to care for your feet in between trips to the spa, right? Or maybe how to make sure your feet look great in flip-flops this summer at the beach, right? And you've got your top 5 tips, whatever it might be. But you add some value, okay? And then, after you've written that, you can then promote with a PS at the bottom. So you've got your 5 tips or whatever it might be, you sign off, and then underneath you put PS. One other thing, we've had a cancellation this Saturday. I've got one slot at 3 o'clock. Send me an email back if you want it. You're going to find much more success with that route than you are constantly sending out space availability or big discounts. Okay, so now let's look at the 5 emails you absolutely should be sending your clients. The first is what I call the client case study. Now, of course, Phorest is absolutely brilliant for getting reviews for your business. Reviews are absolutely essential for your business nowadays. But case studies, they actually take the review one step further. Because what they do is they make a hero of your clients. Now, of course, your client is going to absolutely... Back again. Your client is going to absolutely love this, of course, but so are other people as well. And I'm going to give you a formula and a structure for how you can do this and how you can make a hero of your client. So it starts with seeing all the people that have made the reviews. I would go after those people because they're obviously happy. You might even want to incentivize them to become a hero of your business and become a case study, okay? So here's the formula. To begin with, you've got to tell the story of where they came from. So what pain they were in initially before they'd ever heard of you or your solution, right? How they felt prior to it. So if it was, let's say it's a weight loss solution that you that has, say it was fat freezing or something, then beforehand they might have said, oh, I'm like 8 pounds overweight, I'm really unhappy, I can't fit in any of my best clothes, I'm really stressed out about going on holiday, I don't want to go on the beach, all these things, right? Then what you did and why. So, okay, so Tracy had a course of 6 cryolipolysis sections. This is what I did. These were her problem areas. This is why I did what I did, okay? Then the result rather they achieved with photos, if possible, of course, okay? Got to have a result. That's the most powerful thing. And then how they feel about themselves now. And this is so important. So now, this is the after, not just the pictures, but the after of how they feel. Okay, and that really is the key, is how they feel. So afterwards, they're going to be, yeah, I lost 7 pounds. I feel like I'm 18 again. I can't wait to go on holiday. I've got all my confidence back. Everyone's giving me these nice compliments. All the boys are looking at me at work. Absolutely love it, right? And when you put that together in that formula, that is so powerful. And then what you can do is you can then offer others that same transformation with a clear call to action. Do you want the same results that Judy had? We've got 6 places opening up on our new courses. Fire us a DM if you'd like more information or whatever it is. Transformations are what people want to buy, okay? And that transference particularly of feeling. Okay, the second type of email that you want to start sending to your clients is what I call the storyteller, because we're conditioned to respond to stories from a very, very young age. Think about it. From when we were very, very little, we'd all be read a story, wouldn't we? Possibly every night, right up until we were aged 9, 10 or something, right? So we're conditioned to respond to stories. Don't be afraid, as I mentioned earlier, to pull back the curtain and tell some slightly more personal stories. And they can be about any topic. Any topic could be of interest to your clients. It might be the story this morning of why you were late for school because the kids wouldn't eat their breakfast, right? Because little Tommy's made a fort in the lounge and he won't come out of it, right? And he's got his pan on his head or something, right? Or maybe you had to take Tiddles the chinchilla to the vet and that was hilarious because of X, Y, and Z. Could be about anything. Could be a client that came in and this thing happened. Could be anything, okay? But people will be interested in what you've got to say, particularly when they can relate to them. You're never going to get Boohoo or Sainsbury's sending you an email like that. And this again goes back to the one-to-one selling people by people, okay? And it's going to make you stand out from your competition. I promise you, and you will get people reply. And that's when you know you're doing things right, when people start replying to your emails. Even if you've sent it to 1,000 people, they think you've just written it just to them. And you can use open loops here and cliffhangers. So you might have an email that goes out in 2 parts over 2 consecutive days, and a bit like EastEnders, you know, dun 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 dun. You know, they leave you on an open loop at the end of every episode to make you watch the next episode, don't they? If you watched Gavin and Stacey on Christmas Day, that was like the biggest cliffhanger of the 21st century, possibly, wasn't it? Because they know now they've left it so wide open that if they ever advertise another one and make any more, everyone's going to want to know the conclusion to what that story is. And you can do the same with your emails. It's simply a matter of not saying the ending of an email, of the story in an email, and saying, continues tomorrow. It's as simple as that. The third type of email you can send is what I call the "is everything okay?" And you use this for people who haven't seen you in a while. It's 6 times easier and less expensive to get an existing client to return than it is to attract a new one. So you've got to make sure that you're doing a very, very good job of keeping on top of your existing client base. And Phorest is amazing for this. You've got all the software right there in your fingertips. So it's really important that you work this, okay? And what you're going to be doing is simply checking in on your existing clients, the ones that you haven't seen in a while. And you're going to kind of phrase this like, well, why wouldn't they have come back, right? Because everyone comes back every 6 weeks. Everyone. Why haven't you? What's wrong? Is everything okay? Should we be sending out a search party? Because you know what? As business owners, it is our job to remind people to do business with us. It's not their job to remember. It's our job, okay? And sometimes people need little friendly nudges and reminders. And it's not because they don't love you. It's not because they've now started taking their business somewhere else. It's because everyone's busy. We are all busy. Your clients are busy as well. And that's why you need to give them the little nudge. And the key to this is to make sure it comes from a place of caring and not a place of selling, okay? You're just showing them how much you care about them, making sure that everything's okay, and seeing if they don't need to come in and see you for a bit of pampering and a cup of coffee and a little hug, right? Key phrase here, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Might want to scribble that one down. Okay, the fourth type is the expert email. Now, your business can really explode when you position yourself as the expert in your field. For some reason, even though most business owners actually are experts, very, very few actually claim that positioning for themselves, particularly in our industry for some reason. A lot of people struggle with giving themselves the recognition which they truly deserve. But when you start positioning yourself in that way, lots of good things can happen. And there's also much less competition in that end of the market. For some reason, everyone wants to scrap at the bottom end as being the cheapest for some bizarre reason, which is totally backward because it's the hardest place to be with the least profitability and the most competition. If you actually notice, a lot of the time there's very little competition at the top end of the market where the experts are. You better go in that end, all right? But look, here are just some advantages of being positioned as an expert. I mean, they can charge more straight away, so that's probably got your attention, am I right? They experience much less price resistance. When you're an expert, people aren't going to start trying to barter you down. You're going to get more opportunities as a business and as a business owner, all sorts of opportunities. You're also going to get fewer cancellations, less no-shows, more referrals, and you're also going to get a much, much better response to your recommendations. So you're probably going to sell much more retail. It's going to be easier to do upsells and all those types of good things. Do not underestimate how much you know. You've probably been on umpteen training courses, gone through years of study to get where you are. Don't underestimate that, please, okay? And remember that you almost certainly know more than 99.9% of your clients do as well. So do keep that in mind. And all you need to do to position yourself as an expert, or to start positioning yourself as the expert, is share your knowledge. And this can be via videos. You could do like how-tos, how to braid hair, how to do a manicure, whatever it might be, okay? Top tip lists. Insider secrets are a great one. People love insider secrets. You can write blogs, right? Both your own blogs and blogs for other people. And really anything which positions you as the expert. And these can be in your emails, on your social media, everywhere and anywhere. And for extra marks, you should also repurpose the content as well. So if you write a blog post, for example, you should also then record that as a video and upload it to Insta and as a long form post on Facebook, and also send it out as an email, and use the same content over in different places in different ways. It's going to save you a lot of time, and it's going to really broaden and increase your reach. And the last type of email is the "Are you still interested?" And this is the easiest way to reignite those inquiries which just went nowhere. We've all had these, haven't we? We get an inquiry come in and they say, "Oh, hiya, do you have any slots for waxing this Saturday?" And you email back, "Yeah, I've got 2 slots, one at 2, one at 4, which works best for you?" And then tumbleweed, right? You never hear from them again. They don't answer the phone. They don't reply to your email. The mistake a lot of people make is they believe then that person isn't interested, and that isn't always the case. A lot of times what happened is that they're just busy. Life got in the way, because it happens to all of us as well, doesn't it? And also, even if they did go somewhere else, for a waxing appointment, for example, they're going to need another one at some point, aren't they? Okay? So don't underestimate these inquiries. So many people just do nothing with them, and it can be a hotbed for inquiries to reignite them. And again, much like the earlier one, this is coming from a place of caring and not a place of selling. So you're checking in with them just to see if you can still help. And you owe it not only to your clients, but you also owe it to yourself and to your business, okay? You're providing a better level of service to your clients, because a lot of people make one call and they never do anything again, okay? So you will need to check in with them. That's being good to them, but you also owe it to yourself and your business, because you've paid for that lead effectively. Particularly, you know, if they've seen an advert and responded to that, you've paid for that advert. Well, that means you've got to milk that lead to make sure you get your monies back. Otherwise, you're throwing, flushing money down the toilet. So this is an outrageously simple template for this one, and it's as simple as, hey, Mrs. X, are you still interested in whatever the service was? And it's as simple as that. Hey, Jude. Hey, Jude. Hey, bad example. Hey, Jude, are you still interested in waxing? Right, and what's going to happen most of the time is you'll get a message back from them saying, yes, I am. I'm so sorry. What happened was little Delilah got a watering can stuck on her head. We were in A&E all afternoon. It never happened. I'm so sorry I forgot to get back to you. Thank you for not thinking I'm a total douchebag. Can I come in tomorrow? Right? Honestly, I promise you, you'll be surprised. Just try some of these. And remember, try sending some of them as plain text emails, even if you want to cling on with your both hands at your nice template email. Do some of these in addition to it. You're going to get different responses to them, I promise you. Look, there's loads of other resources on this page as well, including a free webinar that I'm running, which is all about increasing profits in your business, plus also enjoying more freedom as well. It's totally free. There's a link somewhere around this video where you can sign up for that. If you've enjoyed this and you've enjoyed my talk, it's more of the same, but on some slightly other marketing and business growth strategies and topics. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I say, please check me out on Instagram at It's Ryan Power. If you've got any photos from Dublin and from Phorest, please, please, please put them up. Tag me. I really appreciate that. I'd really love to see what you came up with. Likewise, the same. Make sure you tag Phorest. Tell them how great I was. Maybe they'll invite me back. Anyway, if I can help you with anything else, please reach out to me. I'd love to help you if I can. And have a good day.